like water attracts people. I mean, even a creek, when you're like by Huxley, people want to sit by water. They want to hear water. They just want to see water. It's just, it's life.
Absolutely. So I kind of started this because I grew up in a rural area of Michigan, a lot of water. And my wife's a city girl, so we've always lived in suburbs. But to me, this kind of reminds me of my childhood. Just Add Water was just like, when I came up with that name, it was just, you're really not done in the yard until you add water.
Yeah.
Because once you have that, now you have a gathering spot, a place to relax. There's a bunch of studies out there that say how healthy it is for you to be around water.
Yeah, you think about when people sleep, oftentimes they want to put white noise on.
Absolutely.
And white noise, waterfalls, birds, you know, like all that to
Absolutely,
enjoy and just go to sleep and relax.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we redid the pond here, I put the beach on it because I wanted the beach as well. But I will sit in this chair sometimes. I mean, heck, just this afternoon I was in there for 20 minutes. I was about ready to take a nap. So
yeah,
it's just relaxing to come out and sit by the waterfalls. The stream like down here is one of my favorite parts of the system. Waterfalls are cool, but sometimes it can be kind of overpowering and not soothing, where a stream is more soothing. So when I built my yard, it was more different elements of things I liked that we've been building for people, or that I wanted. You know, we'd go to national parks, stuff like that, and we wanted to set our yard up, or I wanted to set up to remind me of those trips, but also recreate some of the elements there that I know would, be good mentally for me, as well as physically.
For sure. You have koi in your pond.
Koi.
And they reproduce on their own.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got way too many koi. And I think last year we had about 30 to 40 that made it from them spawning. And yeah, so it's...
And they can overwinter in Iowa.
Yeah, so they stay right in there. I leave these waterfalls running all winter.
Yeah.
So the system runs all winter.
So does that mean you don't have to heat it up?
Nope. Actually, I don't do anything special.
Nothing.
So the moving water doesn't freeze very easily.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets really, really cold, the waterfalls will completely ice over, and then you'll have the water running underneath it. And it's really cool because we've got lights on it, so the lights will shine through it. It's a pretty neat landscape in the winter. Most of our clients shut it down, and then if we shut it down, we do some stuff. But the koi stay in there all winter.
How do the fish spawn?
I'm not like a koi guy, but basically I'm pretty sure it's just controlled by temperature. You'll see the females are really kind of big with eggs, and then they'll, you can tell they're spawning because the females will be getting chased around. Once the eggs are out, they get fertilized. It's kind of a mass hysteria. Like if you're a koi breeder, it's a controlled environment. Here it's just kind of wild spawning, but
because they eat a lot of their own eggs.
Yep, they'll eat their eggs, they'll eat their young.
Eat their young too.
Yep, and
because fish eat.
If we look really closely, we'll probably find they're probably like right now in my pond, they're probably less than half an inch long, and the babies will just, the fry will hang out in the crevices.
Yeah. So have you, is this at all solar powered? The waterfalls, the pumps, or anything?
No, we are using energy efficient, but here we're just, it's just going off the grid. My new house, we're building a new house right now, we're actually installing a solar system on the roof. We've had people talk to us about having solar powered pumps. The problem with that is, for this, it's an ecosystem. It's got to run 24/7.
Yep. So it can't stop at night.
Yeah. So for my new house, I'll have the solar system where we're grabbing enough power to feed everything. But then, when we have the overcast days or the winter, we still have power to all the pumps, all that kind of stuff. They're having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my pond is what we consider like a recreation pond. The big difference, the recreation pond, is when I built it, I knew people might get into it. Yeah. We're not in it a lot, but we've got places where you can interact. But
Darian, help her! Darian, help her! She's scared. Your sister's scared.
I also have in your boys' pond the stairs. Mm-hmm. The stairs to get out. So
this is like one thing that attracted me to natural swimming ponds is the less toxic environment. Do you personally use quite a bit, like a little bit of stuff, or? No,
we use, most of it is a plant and gravel filter we have. Mm-hmm. I do use Aquascape auto-dose treatments, and there's beneficial bacteria, enzymes we put in the pond. I'm not
which can be beneficial to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not using any algicides or anything like that. My pond does sometimes have some algae blooms in the spring. There's a lot of algae. is actually pretty healthy because algae is the only thing really using the nutrients.
Yeah.
So it's actually keeping my water clean.
Yeah.
So I can see my fish, but also my fish are healthy.
Yeah, and it only just looks aesthetically unpleasing, but it's actually nutritious.
It's like when the water's like in the 50s.
Oh, baby girl.
Mom, you have to come with me.
Oh, I'm not going with you. I'm talking to Chris.
So we are rainwater harvesting here.
Okay.
So their pumps are down in this area, and there's actually 3,000 gallons of water storage below. So
Wow.
very sustainable. I rarely have to put a garden hose in here and fill it up.
Nice.
So I do like certain aspects of that. I was considering with the, we just put a new roof on because of the derecho, but I really wanted to put on one of those Tesla roofs on this house when we redid it. And I don't know if the technology's there yet, but there's that. And then the filters actually, which you probably haven't even noticed, is on the left. Our
Okay.
wetland filter's on the left. No one sees it.
So what's the maintenance of that? Do you have to lift up the filter and clean it out?
I can show you if you want. There's
Sure.
there's an access lid, and it's literally like once or twice a year, you drop a pump in there and clean it out.
Let's do it. Okay.
So right here is the
Oh,
access.
seriously? Are you videoing? Okay.
So this is Aquascape Snorkel. So it's a snorkel and centipede. So snorkel is vertical. So this is like 4 feet straight down. So if I pull this back to the lid. So what we do right over here by there's a pipe that comes in, goes all the way down to the bottom. It drops into, if you think about a big L. So this is the vertical. Then there's a piece that goes horizontal at the bottom. Pipe goes down in there. It's got openings. It's got these things that look like milk crates. They're called aqua blocks. And what happens is the water pumps down the bottom, starts rising up. It gets through the aqua blocks, and then there's 3 foot of gravel, different sizes. Big gravel, medium-sized gravel, little gravel on top. So the water comes up there. It's a calculated flow rate that you want, and it slowly goes through there. The rocks will polish it. Sediments will drop down. The bacteria will eat it, digest it.
Okay.
So what we do is about once a year or twice a year. Once is really all you need to do, but I'll do it twice. Spring and then the fall is we will just shut this pump off. We'll drop a sump pump in here. We'll basically pump that water out. 95% of it comes out crystal clear.
Yeah.
Then the last 5% looks like oil. But when we do clean outs in the spring with this stuff, it's that grass will just go crazy because we'll spread it through the
Yeah.
yard. It's an awesome fertilizer.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of fish poop and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your access. That's your maintenance for cleaning the actual filter. I also have. I can show you if you want to go over. We have. So my pond's more of a showpiece. Obviously, it's my personal stuff, but I set it up to show people and to be able to sell off it. So this filters the whole pond, but I also have. Traditionally, we use. These are called a Bio Falls filter. So if you look real close, this is a big plastic tub. So this is an Aquascape Bio Falls, and this is designed for a 6,000 gallon body of water, up to 6,000 gallons.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the pipe comes in the very bottom. This thing sits, 30 inches tall, 26, 30 inches tall. Pipe comes in the bottom. It rises up through stuff and starts my waterfall. We disguise it, we hide it in the landscape. But down here there is filter mats, and the water comes up through the filter mats. It's basically the same idea as the wetland filter, but this is a man-made, so this is a lot less expensive for us to install. But the water comes up, it goes through filter mats. If you look through there, you can see a bunch of algae and stuff growing on it. And then this starts your waterfall, and we just hide these in there. So I could do a pretty big pond with just this. A wetland filter is way more efficient. So this would be like your entry, or this is what you're getting on a standard installation. If you want to upgrade to wetland filter, it's just way more efficient. You can overload the pond with fish, you can abuse the system, and that'll do a better job. Just a lot more expensive to put in.
Yeah, like you said, you have too many fish, but it doesn't matter for your pond because you've got it's got that. Also.
Yeah, because I have a lot of filtration in here.
Okay. Yeah, don't step in there. It's got mats. Filtering mats.
It's another one of our filters. It's how the pond stays clean. So this is, obviously this is algae.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Our goal is to be able to see the bottom of the pond.
Yes.
So this is part of the
that
filter.
That is fine. That's
they
part
call
of
it,
the filter.
patina or whatever you want to call it. I don't want my rocks to be so clean that they look like,
Yeah.
Anything we put below water is going to get this
algae,
color.
and that's healthy.
That's healthy, yep. It's part of the filter.
Yep. All right, should we get over to the other pond?
We can, I just have to text and tell them we're coming. Hey boys, you want to see this? I got a really cool plant right here. It's kind of getting overtaken by this. Any idea what this is?
Lily pad.
Not a lily pad, it's even cooler.
Is it a fly catching?
It is, it's a carnivorous plant.
Oh.
It's called the pitcher plant.
It eats
And
bugs.
yeah, so it's actually not hardy here. I think it's like zone 8 maybe, but it overwintered.
Wow.
So that's its flower.
Zone 8. You know why, I bet? Because of the stones. Because of the heat, the thermal heat.
It might have been buried by snow and stayed warm enough.
That's true too.
I'm pretty sure it's zone 8. I have to look it up, but it's a carnivorous plant. So actually the bugs go in this area. They're attracted to that area. So I've never seen it eat a bug, but it obviously does.
Yeah, neat.
So I've got a couple. I think I have another one in another spot. I put them in last year.
Awesome.
All right, you're a little bit bigger than my boy. Who's that? You know what this is? Ugh. Yeah, you're definitely like bigger than my son. I'm not ready for that.
So you're asking about my pants, and no, I did not pee them. That was from Nayeli. And now I'm rocking, and I know it's annoying you, but we're gonna live with it. So we're now at a different pond that you guys built, just a couple miles away from your house, and quite a bit larger. So you said this one was done in just this last fall, right?
Yeah,
Winter?
I believe we started in late September or October, but we finished late November, beginning December is when we got water and turned it on.
So like a 2-month build?
Yeah, it was obviously, we have 2 crews, so there was a little bit back and forth on some stuff, and then obviously weather.
Okay.
But yeah, about 2 months to build. Brand new
know.
landscape.
What
The
are
landscape was just done within the last month.
Okay. So that's not part of your guys' bill, a separate crew?
So he has a connection with a landscaper, and they did we did the pond, and then the landscaper did everything else.
Okay. Yeah, so when you go to start a project like this, how do you begin to consider budget? Like, where do you start in understanding what you're going to spend?
So when the word recreation pond or swim pond comes up, I usually tell the person right away we're probably talking about a $100,000 project or more.
Okay.
Doesn't mean we can't do that type of pond for 70 or 80,000.
Okay.
We can also do a really cool koi pond for a lot less than that. But when someone wants to actually, this one's designed more for immersion. So we've got stairs going on the bottom. We've got external pumps. We've got jump rocks, giant rocks in this thing.
Yeah.
Heck, we've got a beach on it. So this one's designed more for that. So that's kind of where the conversation starts. And honestly, with them, when I talked to Seth on the phone, I came over and I met with them, and people don't quite understand what you can do. And the first step for me is I actually just took them to my house. They jumped in their cars, followed me over to the house. They looked at the backyard, and Seth basically said, I love this, I just want it bigger. Most people don't even know what they want or what they can do. So for my house, to me, it's a great thing to get someone over to see, and then they can start telling me about stuff they like about it, maybe stuff that we want to implement into theirs. So for example, like we have at my house, I have the big viewing stone. If you look at this one, I've actually got a viewing stone plus another stone out there, and I kind of designed that in as like a jump rock.
Yeah.
You can also sit out there, feed the fish, and then the beach, they love the beach. We have a bigger beach here. He loved the idea of the stairs into the pond. So a lot of stuff like that. And then it's me as the designer getting out here knowing like this is the view I want from the back of the house. I wanted to draw people outside to be out into this area. And then obviously we set it far enough away from the house that we could create, or the landscape would come in and create this area next to it.
Right.
So If you had existing dirt bottom pond, we call them like farm ponds or retention ponds. Yeah, we've gone in and built a waterfall, decorative waterfall on it. We're actually currently on a project in southeast Iowa in the Fairfield area. They have a 2-acre retention pond. It's 12 years old, starting to silt in, having maintenance issues. They know they're long-term, they're gonna have to re-dredge it. So we're actually in there right now. We're building a filter for it. We built a skimmer, a custom skimmer, and worked on circulation with the goal of basically improving the health of the pond without having to come in and dredge it, and also having a really cool waterfall coming on the side of it. It's a very massive project, but we do that kind of work and it can be done.
So in order to keep something running like this in terms of energy cost, like if just comparison to on-the-grid power, like you were saying yours is a solar deal, right?
My newer house, we're gonna have solar power, but we try to go with the most energy efficient pumps we can. There's a balance of energy efficiency. Obviously we want a good quality pump, and then we also need, like for my filters, they have to have a certain flow rate. So what I do, like here I have 4 pumps back there. They don't all have to run. So at my pond, I have 3 pumps at my current pond. 2 of the pumps are more, they're just purely decorative. So they don't have to run if I don't want them to run. And I actually have an app where I can shut them on and off with my phone, or I can program to be on certain times. At this one, we only have to run one of those pumps to feed the filter. The other ones are purely decorative for our flows for our waterfalls.
Okay.
So I can control flow, or my clients can control power usage, because we'll use a really energy efficient pump for that filter. The other ones are more high flow. They might be a little more pricier to run, using more juice.
But they're decorative, so you can.
So yeah, it's always better if I can on a larger project to use multiple pumps. One, if a pump goes down, we can't get it right away. Obviously, they can run the other pumps. It's not just stagnant water. And then 2, you get more flexibility in, how your system runs. Some people will say like it's the extra pump's like a party pump, or, like I said, you don't have to run all these waterfalls at the same time. It's just obviously looks cooler when you do.
How about if you didn't have any fish in it? Would you be able to do less?
No, you would. You're still going to want. So the way we design our filters is basically a percentage of your square foot. So on like a koi pond, I usually look at a 20%, filter. That's usually where a starting point, and then you tweak it based off some other factors. On a rec pond, it's kind of the same ideal. But so once I design the square footage of the filter, and then I decide the flow rate, and I've got to have that flow going through there all the time. So then you're limited on stuff. It's all the other stuff you put on, all the bells and whistles with the waterfalls that are going to be extra stuff. But you're going to want to hit a certain flow rate for your filter.
Awesome. And
you're going to want to run 24/7. My pond pump that runs my filter is $18 a month. I haven't checked it recently. Here it's going to be more. Like I have to move about 3,000 gallons an hour through my filter. He's got to move like 12,000 gallons. So way bigger filter, but his filter is actually a higher percentage because it's designed for immersion, and then also it's way bigger, but then a lot more water in it, volume, because he's deeper. And then I also, if you remember, I was showing you, I've got extra filtration things in my other parts of my pond that'll take some of the weight off my big filter.
Yeah, so what about in the wintertime? Will this pond freeze, or what do they need to do to keep it from freezing?
So we pulled pumps last year. We shut down for the winter. We had it running, and it'll freeze over. And it's fine. For fish in here, we'll have to drop an aerator in for the winter. We just need air exchange for those fish. They go dormant at the bottom. So I've got one client with a really big 1/4 acre, and we pull pumps on that one. They ice skate on it in the winter. Mm-hmm. It's also 16 feet deep. I always worry about fish kills, but we haven't had one yet. It's been 8-9 years.
Yeah, the guy that we were talking with to do just aeration, if we were to just do our pond as kind of a retention area and then just be able to use it as a fishing pond, and he was going to put in 2 aerators, and then we could turn one of them off, let the other end freeze so I could ice fish it, and then keep it circulating at the other end throughout the winter.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's the route we might go, but we gotta have water first.
The difference is mine has that waterfall off of the stream. Mm-hmm. So this is what we call the intake bay. So you can see how dirty it is. And we're dealing with a little bit of the algae bloom because it's a brand new pond. But you can see everything just gets drawn right down into this area. You can see that algae coming in here. You can see the current. So we're actually sucking the water out of this area. So this is our skimmer. So you can get in here and just net out stuff. So when, you know, leaves, when the landscape establishes or you get the leaves falling down, they're all gonna get sucked over in this area. We can pull them out. At my house, we've got the waterfall off. This is the same grade. And then here we're using inline pumps. And his pumps are actually hidden right back. You can kind of see the power box right there, but there's a bunch of pumps back there. Swimming pool pumps.
There are some
See, there's dragonflies.
dragonflies.
So, but yeah, this is very normal on a brand new pond for it to look like this. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just got to cycle through. It's got to basically balance out. And this will go away. He also has been feeding his fish a lot. So I've told him to ease up on the fishing a little, the food for the fish, just so the fish can start eating the algae, and then also the bacteria can break down the waste that's in there. But you can see, and his fish, those are, if you look into, there's a bunch of small fish. Those are babies from this year. They spawned. We put fish in here in like March,
Yeah.
and that's how
There's
big.
lots of babies.
So he's got a couple generations. Like you can see, there's just tons of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a baby right there.
Yeah.
He's eating.
But still, the water quality you can see right to the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it's 6
it
feet
lights
deep
up
over.
at night.
Yeah, oh yeah. This one's, you got the lights on right now. So filter wise,
Pumps are over here.
they're hidden out of sight.
Can't see them from the house. Oh, this is a nice little waiting area.
So this is your filter, just like at mine. It's just
Oh.
way bigger because it's a way bigger pond.
Yeah.
And it's one of the names they'll call it's like a regen zone. Same ideal. You can see actually there's my clean out lid
Yeah.
right down here on the last one.
Okay.
So this thing is about 25 feet long and 10 feet wide. And you can see we've got brand new plants in here, but these plants will eventually, you know, they'll spread out.
Oh, so this is going to be like that area in the natural swimming ponds where there's lots of plant.
Yep, there'll be a lot of
plants that are
plant. There's usually kind of
helping
dirtier with
filter it
algae.
as well.
But it is what polishes the water and keeps it nice and clean.
Yeah.
And then the other
Beautiful.
waterfalls are more just decorative.
Yeah.
So the one over in the corner, its role is for circulation. It's also a really cool waterfall for the house for them to enjoy. But then it's also helps push the water.
Eat
Feel-
it, Darian.
So you got obviously you got the waterfalls on one side and the pump stuck on the other, so you got circulation through the whole system. You see him, right?
Oh, he's got bees.
That's all of his land right there.
Look at, he's got bees. That's his land. He cares about the bees. He wants honey. That's awesome.
He said his bee guy was just here, like
Oh,
I think he said 24 hives.
that 24 hives. Wow. So that's all of his land. He's got all of those pines. Nice.
His land goes right to the pine tree.
It's crazy because this is just this is in the middle of lots of larger houses, and then his backyard. He saved a bunch of this land for himself, huh? To
Yeah.
keep
So-
and
It's really cool here. So we've got this rock. It's a bubbling rock.
okay.
And you can sit here all day long. We've got it's really turned down, but you can see the bees all day long.
Oh yeah.
So obviously water is important for the...
Wow, this is my heartthrob right here. I love honey. You don't know this, but I'm actually going to do a video about brushing my teeth
Okay.
with honey.
All right.
Well,
Does it work?
You'll have to watch the video. This is not a bad way to get your vitamin D in. Store up all that good vitamin D in your body.
Thanks everybody for watching. Again, hit subscribe so you can see what's going on. Any questions that you've got, post them. Either of us can answer them. If I see something, I can field it over to him or whatever. So yeah, keep the questions coming, and we'd like to see what we can do in the future. Thanks.